Hello everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Justin and I'm the road mapping expert and founder at Roadmap Heroes. Roadmap Heroes transforms tech teams to plan strategy, track execution and communicate clearly using road mapping tools. In this video I'd like to talk about the tags field in AHA. The tags field is a quick and convenient way for users to group and categorize their epic, feature and idea records. Tags are colourful, show up well on things like the Epic's features board, as well as on roadmaps and reports. In addition, a filter can be used to help the teams to quickly narrow down a group of tagged fields for further analysis. The problem with tags is that their ease of creation and apparent flexibility can actually start to hinder the way that you show and filter data in your AHA roadmaps and reports. What was once a convenient and harmless way to group information actually starts to impact your data quality and the information you need to show to be able to make informed decisions for your roadmap and team. The solution is to review the use of tags on a regular basis and to establish when another type of field may be better suited, either in helping the team to manage their work, underpin their processes, or when sharing outputs with stakeholders. The topic of AHA tags has actually come up a few times with clients in the past week, so I wanted to create a video to help them and you avoid some of the pitfalls. In this video, I'll show you a few scenarios to demonstrate where tags can limit your reporting flexibility and what you can do to avoid them. So let's get started. Let's quickly talk about some of the benefits and drawbacks of tags fields. Here on my features boards, you can see my feature cards with the tags clearly showing here. I can quickly at a glance see that these features are going to be delivered by certain squads, maybe which features are at risk, and so those values really pop out here. They show well on the features board, reports and roadmaps. They're convenient for quickly grouping and categorization. End users can easily add new tag values without being a customizations admin. So to show you that, we can come into this feature record here, come down to the tag, and I've got the ability to use an existing tag. So if I type in squad, I can easily assign this to an existing one, or I can create a quick new squad value, squad 3, and AHA has now given that a default color and shows it on here. So it's very, very quick and convenient. And lastly, this tags value here for my features is also the same as on my epics and my ideas. So if I come to my ideas area and open up a new idea, I have the ability to choose the exact same list of tags and maybe assign this one to squad 3 for further investigation, for example. Now let's talk about some of the drawbacks though. On my features board, the colours that have been chosen are randomly assigned by AHA. So if I want something to have specific meaning like at risk here, that needs to later be modified by an administrator. These values as well, not alone just the colours, if I make a spelling mistake, again that needs to be corrected by an administrator, and duplicates can unfortunately be easily created. If we have a look at this squad 2 here, you'll see a typo. I meant to put a space here, but someone might have come in and also created squad 2 as another value, and now we've basically got two tags doing the same thing. In addition, tags being account-wide might not make sense. If you have certain tags in your ideas, that might not make sense for other product areas' ideas, or it might not make sense for completely different functions such as marketing or IT, for example. So having these account-wide can often make this a very busy, populated tags area for other users. Also, tags cannot be shown in an idea portal, and that can be a problem. Sometimes you want your end users to select or use the tags that you use, but AHA prevents the tags field from being used in an idea portal because it might accidentally surface important information, and so a different field type has to be used. And then lastly, the one I want to share with you now is about filtering these tags. Let's go and create a very simple report to illustrate this issue. So coming up to roadmaps and then list, we can now create a new report. And I'm just going to create a simple feature report here. Okay, I'm also going to add in my tags. And so here we go and added that in here and now click on next. And what we see here now is my different features and showing these different feature tag values. And what's unfortunate is that if I create a new filter here, I'm not able to select individual ones and have that as an and relationship. It can only be an or relationship. So if I was to look at any medium work and was to do with squad 2, for instance, so let's add that in, then you'll see that actually AHA now brings back anything that is squad 2 or medium, and so I don't have that reporting value. Let me show you a couple more scenarios to illustrate this point a little bit further. Let's say I want to create a pivot report that shows what squads are working on what size features. Kind of makes sense as a typical thing that we might want to show. If I come into my roadmaps pivot view, I can now go and configure the pivot table, and I might use across here in the columns certain feature tag values, and then in the cells I'm going to show the feature name, for instance. So let's type that in here. All right. Now when I go ahead and save this report, what I'll see is the different tags will be across the top. So let's say that we want to show medium, large and small, and we take squad 2 value away. So if I refresh that report, I've now got a great report that shows which features are large, which features are medium and which features are small. But what I don't have the ability to do is actually look at which team or squad these are assigned to. I don't have the ability to bring my squad into the table here on the left-hand side. And if I was to bring my squad into this report and choose these values, you'll see that it's not actually showing me exactly what I wanted to see. I wanted to see which squad was going to be working on which feature in these different columns here representing the feature size. So it doesn't quite do that. And again, it's because AHA is doing that or relationship in here. Another example is if we want to show a list of squad 2's features and any that are at risk. So again, if I came back to roadmaps list and then come into my feature tags and show squad 2, so let's do that. And I want to show anything that is at risk. So let's go and find the at risk again. Again, I'm not able to show squad 2 and at risk. I can only show squad 2 or at risk. And so this again populates and show me all values regardless of whether they are squad 2 and at risk. So these are some of the things where actually the tags can be really useful, but they can hold us back from a reporting perspective. So how can we tame our AHA tags? Well, first of all, it might make sense to go and look at them. So coming to settings and account, if you're a customizations admin, and then tags shows all of the tag values that are used in AHA at the account level. So we can now see some of these tags have not been used within any record, and where some tags are actually being in use and the record types there. And looking through this list, it's a pretty big list. Some of them are being used really well and some of them are not. So the first thing to do would be consider deleting any tags that we're not using. Secondly, consider looking at any duplicate tags or misspelt ones. So you saw in this example, we've got squad 2 and then squad space 2, and there's quite a lot of records being used there. One thing that we might look to do is consolidate those. And so what you can do in AHA is actually replace one value. So it will be this one, squad 2. We can actually click on here and replace, and then choose to replace it with squad space 2. So what that will now do is consolidate all of those values into just squad space 2. And if I hit refresh here, then you can now see that they've all been consolidated and there's a total of 16 features using it. So again, another big win there from a reporting perspective. Squad 2 and squad space 2 were really the same thing. The other thing to consider is any groupings of common fields being used here. So here we have some dates. Here we have what looks to be Acme Inc., maybe a type of customer. We can see some things that are at risk or business critical, kind of indicating that these are important things. We can also see maybe where people have chunked up some work in different ways. Things were high priority, maybe assigned to different users and assigned to different squads or sprints. So look for things that have got common categories or purposes, and it might be around customer, priority, dates, sizing, sprints, teams, etc. You're going to see some common patterns here where users have used them in the best intent, but actually they could be served by some properly categorized custom fields. The other thing is there a standard field in AHA that could already do this job? For instance, we see some dates here. Maybe this is the future due date. We see some usernames here. Maybe this could be the feature assigned to. And so again, by well-meaning putting this data in AHA, we might be duplicating standard fields or custom fields that already exist. Also think about the behavior that a new field should potentially have. Different custom fields behave differently, for instance. So if we are creating a custom field and we want to replace some of these for something else, think about whether that new field should have certain colors or text. Think about the type of field, because in AHA reports, some fields actually pivot well where others don't, maybe like a string or a text field, for instance. And also think about whether those fields that we're creating custom fields for need to be integrated with another system, because that's going to be important when you're mapping those fields across the integration. It's another consideration to have. So let me show you an example of how we might simplify some of these. And I'm going to take t-shirt size and squad. You can see that we've got squad 1, 2 and 3 here, and we've also got some t-shirt size of small, medium and large. Let me show you how I'm going to make these into proper custom fields, and we'll then prune them out of our tags list. So the first thing to do is to make sure that we actually have custom fields that can be used to represent our t-shirt size and our squad. So just having a quick look in my custom fields and looking on features, I can see here that I have a t-shirt size field, and that's a predefined choice list, which means I can make different colors for them, but I can only choose one value at a time. And also my squad is a predefined choice list, which again means that I can assign colors to them if I want, but we can only have one squad at a time. If you need multiple values, then a predefined tags field may be a better choice. In this example, you can see for my squad, I am showing those as colored labels, and I'm using squad 1 and squad 2 as my values in here. So if I come down to look at my features board now, and I look at one of these feature cards, I'll be able to see that I've got some custom fields now ready to collect my t-shirt size information and ready to collect my squad information too. So now we need to think about how we transfer the data from the tags into those different fields. So I'm going to create a list report. Now what I'm going to do is think about moving the squad, let's say. So let's go and check squad 1. And I'm going to take the is not blank off now that I've seen the values here. These are all features that are using the tag squad 1. And I want to move that to a custom field. So I'm going to add the custom field in here as a data column. I'm actually going to add in squad, and I'm also going to add in that t-shirt size. There we go. Because I want to see those values and I want to see what happens when they start to get populated. Okay, so I can see a few fields have been populated already. First of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to, now that I've filtered these and we can see all of them here, I'm going to select all of these features and bulk edit them. And what I'm first going to do is add the custom field squad, and I'm going to choose squad 1. So AHA is now going to add squad 1 custom field to all of those features. And if I click apply, then we're going to see what that looks like in AHA. All right, so now anything that is squad 1 is now got a custom field of squad 1. And what I can then do, now I'm happy that it's got those values, is again bulk edit those features. And now in this instance, I'm going to go to my tags, remove tags, and remove squad 1 from them. So now I'm going to click apply. Now don't be alarmed if the report now comes back as blank, because that features tag has now been removed, so it won't show here, and that's okay. In fact, what we're going to do now is remove that feature tag, and I'm going to add a new one on squad for squad 1. So this now brings back my list, and here we are again. But you can now see that feature tags is now only really being used for things that are at risk or a t-shirt size. And we can do the same thing here with our t-shirt size. So let's look at our feature tags for anything that is small. So let's do that. Now we have 2. Now it could be argued that at this point it doesn't make sense to do a bulk edit. So if I wanted to do this manually, I can just open up the feature. I can come down to the t-shirt size. I can see that the value is small, so I select small here, and I can now remove the tag. And you'll see that that's actually happening to the data in the background there. Again, if I do it here on my feature name and go into small, so let's go to t-shirt size is now small, and then I'm going to take that tag value off. Okay, so again, when I refresh this report, it's going to show nothing because of the way that my filters are working. But if I remove the feature tags now, and now just show on squad 1, you can now see that the small has come across from the tags into my t-shirt size, and I now have dedicated fields. It would be very easy for me to create a filter on here to now show what is squad 1 and t-shirt size of small, which was something that I wasn't able to do before. Okay, I've now changed my data, and so I've applied the t-shirt size to the remaining features. So now tags is only being used in this instance for anything that's at risk. It's not being used for the squad or the t-shirt size. And so it makes it really easy for me to go back into my report now. Let's go to roadmaps and pivot. And now if I redo my pivot table, let's now show the squad in the rows. The t-shirt size can now be across the top, which is where we wanted it, and the feature name in the cells. And if I click on save and now remove this filter for squad 1 and refresh my report, this has now given me the report that I wanted to see. I can now easily see what squad 1 is working on in terms of small, medium and large. These features here have not actually been sized, so they don't have a value. And these features down here have not actually been assigned to a squad yet. And so that's why squad 2 doesn't show here. And this now gives us much more reporting flexibility. And you can see where the tags were starting to hold us back. And that's it. Hopefully you can now see that whilst using our AHA tags gives us a lot of end user convenience, they can start to restrict the way we capture information, show our data, and make important decisions. I'd strongly recommend that the customizations administrators in your AHA account regularly review your company's use of tags and consider moving certain categories of data over into their own custom fields. If this was helpful to you, I'd really appreciate a thumbs up below. If you think this could be beneficial for your AHA implementation, please share it with folks so they can create something similar. And if you have any thoughts or comments on how to improve on this, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Happy road mapping.